Good morning. Today is the 7th of May, 2016, and it is a gorgeous morning. It's been raining now for the past 10-11 days, and it looks like we have a lull. You'll hear the birds, you will hear a local church near us has a electronic bell system that plays music. You can hear that in the distance. I'm going to start with the blueberries because I am very happy how these things are turning out. I've got flowers galore. You're looking at I'll start in the back. I have 2 Chandler blueberries in the back. These 2 are the ones that were pretty much doing my worst. Get a little closer for you, but it'd make you dizzy. The one on the left kept getting eaten down. I did not think it was going to make it, but it's put out a branch, a stalk, whatever you really want to call it, coming out of the base of it. And it's got leaves, and I don't think I'm going to get any but flowers or berries off that one this year, but hopefully next, now that the thing's got a chance of life. The next one is another one of my Chandlers that's been eaten down a bunch of times. And it is got a lot of flowers on it. It's shown a lot of growth. Very good. And here is another one of my Chandlers that has been eaten down a bunch of times. I'm going to find a good angle for you. Sorry for the herky-jerkiness of the camera. And it's got some flowers. And it's, excuse me, coming back. Next I have my Elizabeth. That's looking really good. Really good. And my Rika I have to reweed. It seems like I have to keep on reweeding this one. This is one of my tallest. Bunch of flowers, looking great. Now I'm going to head over to my other Chandler blueberry. This is probably the healthiest of my Chandler blueberries I have. The 4 of them. And it's tons of flowers. I would bet you there are probably about 100 flowers on here. The only thing that's worrying me is I've only seen about 2 or 3 bees flying around. And I don't know if most people know this, but honeybees and I believe also yellow jackets do not fly in the rain. Thankfully I have a few carpenter bees. They're taking apart my garage for me, which I don't want, but they're also pollinating my flowers for me, which I do want. And now you're looking at my tallest Rika. It's probably about 4 feet tall from the base, the actual base, the soil surface, to the tip of it. And I'm seeing buds all over it. It looks like it's going to have another growth spurt, which is good because blueberries are a lot more bushy than this when they put on berries. So I'm really hoping that what I'm doing this year with getting them into containers and protecting them over the winter is going to help. Now I'm going to come over to my Chippewa. And, well, there's actually 2 Chippewas here. They both have the most flowers of any. And the ironic thing is, it doesn't make much sense to me, but the plant knows best. This Chippewa here is putting on a ton of growth, ton of buds. On top of where it's finished growing, it's putting on buds to continue growing. And the leaves are all out and the flowers are all out. My other Chippewa, let me get you in a little closer so you can see it. Doesn't have a lot of leaves, but it has a ton of buds. It's growing upward more than it's putting leaves out. Not sure why it's doing that, but I'm not going to complain because all this green wood is living wood. Everything green is alive. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. Ain't going to complain. And the last one you're going to see is my Patriot blueberry. And this one here was touch and go. It's one of my oldest ones. It's been eaten down a bunch of times, but it is starting to really come back with a vengeance. And that's a good thing. I'm now going to pan behind us so you could see what we've got going on with raspberries. Let me start here. These are the Nawat black raspberries I just put in. I'm going to have to get more mulch. Apologize for the mess. When I put these in, they were just stalks. They're finally starting to get leaves, and there's this one here. Let me get in as close as I can to it for you. It's a little hard to show you it, but it's starting to get, I don't know if that helped. It's starting to get a lot of buds on it now. Basically when I put it in, it was just bare root. Starting to get a lot of buds on it now for growth, little shoots. That's a good thing. So hopefully this fall we'll get a nice little harvest of black raspberries. And then next summer we should have another nice little harvest. Because these are the first floricane fruiting black raspberries. There are some new varieties from what I was reading about being worked on. I don't know when they'll be officially available, but they'll be in testing for a while probably. And these are my red raspberries. I'm not 100% sure what to do about the weed problem underneath. From what I read, they should be mulched the first year, which they were. They should not be mulched after that. I'm hoping, because raspberries are a very invasive plant, I'm hoping that they just overtake the weeds and kill them on their own. If not, I'm going to have to be very careful and go through there pulling weeds. But it does seem like they're doing okay nonetheless. I was having a little trouble figuring out the dead canes versus the live canes before. At least now I know for sure which ones are definitely dead and which ones are live. So I am going to also go through there and cut out a lot of the canes. I did cut out a bunch in the springtime that were definitely dead. I see there's a lot more that I missed. And over here where I expanded the bed, a lot of new cane growth. I've also cut a lot of them down because they got into the grass throughout the rest of the yard nearby it. Looking good. These are going to grow up. Hopefully I'll get maybe I'll get something from them in the fall. If not, I know I'll get something from them in the spring. I'm going to look at this at a different angle, because usually when I show off the garden, I show it off from the front side. This is actually from the back side. First thing you'll see here is my pak choy, Chinese cabbage. Not sure how well it's going to do. My problem is I found the weather requirements for it, and it likes to constantly be around 50 degrees and not above 70. And that's kind of hard, in this area at least. We have too many extremes. But it hasn't died yet, so hopefully we'll have some decent luck with it. Next you're going to see my romaine lettuce. I have 8 heads of it, and it's looking pretty good. I think it's starting to need some sunshine. I think everything here is starting to want some sunshine. Next you'll see my red, was it Tasty Red Leaf, I believe was the variety. And behind that is the Butter Crunch. And behind that is my oldest variety I put in, which is my Black-Seeded Simpson. And to the right of that you're going to see a bunch of stems. Those are my onions, my onion stalks. And they're looking pretty good. Certainly can't complain. And now I'm going to take you down to the next row, and we're going to take a look at some strawberries, which have really put on some growth this year. Now I put these in probably about a little over a month ago, month and a half ago. And they are all looking good. I mean, basically when I put these in, you really couldn't even hardly see anything sticking out of the plastic. Now looks like I have lost one or two. Let me zoom in a little bit closer so you can get a much better idea of what they look like. I'm definitely getting a lot of flowers on them, which is a very good sign. Again, I don't have a lot of bees. I'm a little confused where all the bees went. Hopefully they come back out soon. Hopefully this rain stops and the bees come out soon. And to the other side I have my strawberries. I I was discussing in our previous videos, moving to all straw. I'm already seeing a ton of weeds growing through the straw I put down. Straw might not be my answer. I wish it were though. I'm just going to keep trying, see if I can get any better luck. If not, we might just stick with all black plastic for the strawberries. Not as natural as I'd wish, but I'm still keeping everything organic. I'm not using any crazy chemicals on them. Don't need to poison myself. And this is my area of peas and weeds. Well, actually on the right you'll probably see a few beans. These are wax beans over here. I don't know what in the world happened, if it was my seeder or the seed was bad. Can't keep saying I think the seed was bad if the seeds aren't germinating. It might just be the seeder not working very well. And over on this side I have green beans. These are tender crop. The ones on the other side are pencil pod. And I'm gonna show you the pea plants are doing pretty good. The weeds are being a real bad thing this year. I think because we keep getting the rain, the weeds seem to thrive in the rain, whereas everything else really wants the sun. And now I'm going to step on over a little bit more. Sorry for the shakiness. I'm going to show you the last of what we have in right now, which is our kale, two Brussels sprout plants on the end, the kale next to it, and we have Romanesco broccoli, and then you see the sign past that point is the Calabrese broccoli and the cauliflower, and we have some onions in the middle. They're doing good. Hopefully we'll have something for the fair, which is in like a month and a half. And what you're now looking at is the asparagus bed from an upward view. I'm starting to see the spears. I see one decent sized spear, but the rest of them are getting very thin. So these are the fern features of them, where once they're no longer a thick stalk coming up, you want to start letting them just grow. They become ferns and they gain their energy, and basically next year they'll be much more prolific than they were this year. And next to that is my rhubarb, which is doing something unusual, but I'm sure it's normal. I've just never had rhubarb do this to me. I've only had rhubarb last year and this year. They're putting out a flower. Ignore the I have my watermelon seedlings here. They started dying inside. They just started dying for no reason. I know they say don't start them inside because they don't like it. I think it's true, but I started them inside to try to get a little bit of a jump on the season. I am going to be planting the watermelons today. Yeah, here's my flower stalk on the top of my rhubarb. Kind of strange, but it's okay. Plants know what to do better than humans do in most cases. And that's pretty much the whole garden today. Not much more else to say, but I will say hopefully this rain pattern breaks and I can make a lot more of these videos. My allergies are finally back to normal. I was hoping to plant tomatoes and peppers in the next few days. Actually, I was hoping to start doing them on Thursday, but the weather's been very uncooperative. I'm going to put my closest row next to between where the red onions, lettuce, and carrots are, and between the strawberries is where I'm going to put my tomatoes, this little area here. That's my cherry tomatoes. My large tomatoes are going to be in the back between the peas and the broccoli, cauliflower, etc. I wish you all a good